Hi folks, it's Dino again. I'm still exploring sound sources and signal processing through ModeP on the Raspberry Pi. Today I have switched it up a little bit, and rather than having a stringed instrument bass as what I've been doing primarily, I have a stylophone. This is the stylophone up on the glitch cam. And a stylophone, for those of you who don't know, is a low-end, very inexpensive, like under $100, analog synthesizer device. The stylophone has been around since the 60s, the 1960s, really a very early entrant into electronic music devices. It is a pure analog synth. It has no DSP, no chips, no op amps, nothing like that in there. And the original one just had a vibrato switch and has an onboard speaker. I'm not even sure if it had a headphone jack. These devices were popular for a short time and quirky, fun devices. They were featured once or twice in some pop tunes. I think there's a one that makes an appearance in a David Bowie song or two. Take a look on the internet. You'll find out what these are all about. They're pretty exciting. A stylophone is a device that is played with a stylus. This little compartment here hosts the stylus. The stylus is a, hence the name stylophone, has a little metal tip right on the top of it there, a copper tip, and then there's a metallic keyboard strip here, and when you touch the tip against the strip, you get a note. And I have just some fundamental setups in the analog setup here, just some tonality to give me a signal. So here's what you would hear just listening to the stylophone plugged in to, or even on a speaker. So you've got a lot of control, actually. You've got an envelope, you've got a cutoff and a resonance frequency, you've got an LFO for vibrato and things like that, with a wave type switch. On the side here, you've got a few buttons that give you some added notes, like a octave below or 2 octave below. Here's this fundamental. Here's with the octave. Here's with 2 octaves. Very fat. So, right away you have funk galore, right? So I'm just turning those off now. And I have just the stylus. There's also this little strip. Little theremin action going on there. And of course, if you play around with the controls, you can get a lot of other tones. The other thing we have is this PCM switch, pulse. I can never say this. Pulse code modulation. No, pulse width modulation, PWM. And if I click it, I get, well, it's hard to hear, but it's a little bit of modulation in the width of the square wave, or the wave that is generating the tone. Almost sounds like a chorus, but it isn't. So that's my input device. That's my signal. With that, of course, going direct in, you hear what you hear. But me, I've got some tricks up my sleeve with polyphony. So this is a monophonic device. I can only ever get one note out of it at a time. Even if I try to play on this strip and the stylus at the same time, I can only get one note. It's fun to do, but one note all the time. Enter the Pisound, enter ModeP, enter their auto-tune and their harmonizer plugins. So a couple things, right? So I've got a noise gate, which I think was off. Oh, well, I guess it's not very noisy. That's good. I've got a compressor here, and then I've got a whole stack of auto-tune devices, 3 of them, and a capo, a sort of digital capo. Oops, that lets me pitch shift to a specific interval. So this is up 6. Then if I use the auto-tune devices, mainly I use them because being an analog synth, it's not pitch perfect. So the voltage dividing keyboard drifts and you end up with some odd notes. You can snap those in with the auto-tune. But why do I have 3 of them? Well, the first one just snaps in to the major key of C scale and goes into a harmonizer. And the harmonizer adds the 3rd and the 5th, again, in a major scale, so they are relative as you go up and down the scale. The second one, with the combination of this capo that moves it 6 half steps up, also constrains it to notes C, D, and G. So now I have kind of parallel movement, although not entirely because it's constrained, it's kind of normalized to just 3 notes on the scale. And they're complementary notes as I move around in the, in the relative key. So the other one, the last one, is direct through. It doesn't get harmonized, but it's just a 3rd one so that I have, clean notes that I can send out and to the rest of the signal chain. So you've got harmonized major, you've got up 6 half steps, and constrained to just the C, the D, and the G. So you'll hear what those sound like. And then I've got another major one that's just set up so that I can get regular notes out of it. And then over here on the back end, we've got just a pleasant ambient signal. There's a shimmer verb that adds in a 2-octave over kind of harmonic and some reverb tail. There's a chorus to sort of fatten it up a little bit. And there is a room reverb, which just kind of softens the chorus and gives me kind of a wash sound. All right, let's listen to what this sounds like now. I've got the whole effects chain turned on. Here we go. Not perfect, but pretty cool, pretty beautiful, and pretty useful, as a accompaniment, as a background, as just an effect. Of course, you have to work with your intervals and to fit your songwriting, but still, they're all the tools are there. Now, the other thing I did was I effectively have like a split keyboard here, because above this C, I get all the harmonics, the harmonies, I mean, and below, all I get is the see, I have a cutoff for the harmonizer, so I just get the 2 fundamental notes and then this D or G depending on where I'm at. So it's a little less cluttered down there, and you can't play multiple notes, but if you drift down below, you're not going to get a big fat wash of, clumpy harmony, clumpy chords. So that's kind of what I did here. Let's just play a little bit with some of the envelope and other things, the resonance. So that's what I can do with the signal chain. Now, back to the little music strip here. So because I'm going through the auto tunes, I get a little bit more constraints around what I can play here. So even though this is continuous analog input, like a theremin, because you're putting it through the auto-tune and the harmonizer, you get real intervals, real notes. Because it is an analog strip, you can still get vibrato. Music performance that you can do with that is pretty expressive. For a toy and a tiny system on a chip and some open source software, I guess I'm kind of marveling at it. Well, I could play all day, but I think I'm going to pause here. It's a lot of fun, guys, and I hope you find your way into this world and fall in, because it's so much to do and so much satisfaction out of it. Wish you the best, and I'll talk to you again soon.